Trails West by Anna, Jayson, Billy, and Liz. I wanted to be the first to view a country on which the eyes of a white man had never gazed, and to follow the course of rivers that run through a new land. That was said by mountain man Jedediah Smith, who later got mauled by a grizzly bear.
The Mountain Men. Mountain men were the first to blaze the Oregon Trail. They braved the unknown wilderness in groups of 40 to 60 people to trap and trade animal pelts. The mountain men didn't go by a regular calendar. The seasons and climate told them the time of year. For example, spring told them it was time to hunt the beavers because they still had their thick winter coats. July was when the mountain men would rendezvous together. That is all the rendezvous used to be. Then it turned into a month-long carnival in the middle of the wilderness. There were events such as horse races, running races, target shooting, and gambling. After the rendezvous, the men would start the fall and winter season of trapping, and thus the cycle began again. The Mormons and the Mormon Trail. From 1847 to 1869, 70,000 Mormons traveled a trail to what would become Salt Lake City. The Mormon Trail stretched from Illinois to Utah and was 1,300 miles long. Brigham Young and his followers made the trek in 1847. The Mormons wanted to be able to practice their religion freely without harassment. The Salt Lake City still had a very large population of Mormons today.
Missionaries. The missionaries' mission was to convert Native Americans to Christianity. Most of the time, this didn't go very well for them. Native Americans were wary of these new settlers. Many settlers brought new disease that killed off the Native Americans. Thus, the Native Americans thought they were being purposely poisoned. This never seemed to faze Marcus and Narcissa Whitman, however. The determined couple, along with Henry and Eliza Spaulding, made the trip out west in 1836. They worked dutifully to try and convert Native Americans. Their shine started to fade out, however, when the Whitman's 2-year-old daughter drowned in a river. After that, they just couldn't catch a break. In 1847, a measles outbreak enraged Native Americans, and the chief ordered revenge. The happy couple ended under gravestones. The Donner Party. The Donner Party was originally made up of 87 people and was led by George Donner. The Donner Party was a part of a group of pioneers traveling to California. George Donner was told of a shortcut through the mountains. The shortcut really added 100 miles to the journey. George and 5 others decided to break off the group and take the shortcut. That night in the Sierra Nevada mountains, the party had to stop and camp due to a broken wheel axle. It snowed 5 feet that night, and in some places there were 60-foot drifts. They were stranded with only 3 weeks' worth of food. They eventually had to kill their pack animals, then eat tree bark, twigs, dirt, and bones. On Christmas Day that year, they resorted to cannibalism and ate their first human. From there on out, they didn't bury the dead, they ate them. They would mark the flesh of the dead person so they wouldn't eat their children. After being stranded for 5 months, the search party eventually found only one survivor. The survivor carried the mental scar of the rest of their life and were more than likely called a zombie for eating people like a wild animal.
Manifest destiny. If you're thinking to yourself that anyone who made or wanted to make the journey west that was crazy, there's one explanation: manifest destiny. At the time when the Oregon Trail was operating, expanding west or manifest destiny was extremely popular. People thought that it was America's destiny to expand. The thought was that if America expanded, it would be recognized as politically and socially superpowered country to other countries. So, if you're still confused about why people moved westward, just remember it all came back to money and power. In conclusion, we have learned today that some guys partied it up in the woods, an old guy led a bunch of followers to a city where they don't need to salt their french fries, converting Native Americans to Christianity will only get you 6 feet under, and the neighbor that you thought was really friendly turned out to be a flesh-eating zombie. Our sources for this video were our 2 history textbooks. The end.